Welcome back, boys and some girls. Today I'm going to share with you some tips I picked up while playing Adam Warlock for a bit. We'll always start with the hero spotlight, a short one, then move on to general playstyle and finish up with some specific tips. If you're just here for the tips, feel free to skip to whatever the timestamp on the screen is. Adam's left click is a very high damaging hit scan weapon. Adam right here has ability which you hold then unleash all your hits.
Was not kind to you.
Adam's left shift is a damage share which also heals a tiny amount of healing you can see on the bots. Adam's E is a healing ability which target in a chain all allies that have a line of sight. Adam passive is whenever you die to just be reborn. Adam's ultimate revive teammates that are near you or your ultimate. They will be revived with 30% of their HP. Great. Now you have a basic understanding of what Adam's kit can actually do. There's not a lot of complexity, so it's probably going to be a pretty short segment, a pretty short video. There's a lot to say about it. Let's start by stating that Adam should not be played as a solo healer. His output is quite lower than other healers and he has a hard time defending himself from divers. To compensate for it, he has great damage potential that does require good aim. If you have that aim, you could outdamage quite a few heroes. Adam's biggest strength is his ability to revive both himself through his passive and his allies through his ultimate. However, it does require some planning, which I will dive a bit more into later on in the tips section. There's not a lot again to say about Adam's playstyle. It's mostly about attacking enemies with your left and right click and healing in between and linking your team whenever some big ultimates fall on your heads. In terms of positioning, like all supports, you want to stay behind your team, ideally in an elevated position. You should be sniping squishy backliners and using your hit scan left click to take down flying enemies. However, you want to stay close to an ally at all times. If you get flanked, your only option is to burn all of your cooldowns to defend yourself, which kind of leaves you with nothing for your team. And even then, you might have not killed the flanker, they might still survive and keep coming for you. That's pretty much everything for Adam's playstyle, pretty simple. Let's go to the tips. After firing your right click, immediately chain it up with the left click for almost instant damage. This works especially well when you're trying to finish up your opponents. Tip number 2 is to use your left click against flying enemies. Since it's a hit scan, it will instantly hit them without having to worry anything about travel time. Your right click on the other hand can miss quite a bit if they're too far away or if they're moving too fast. Also, don't forget to consider that you have damage fall off the longer the shot you're taking is. Tip number 3, whenever you're using your healing ability, it's crucial to consider what target you're choosing. If you select a teammate that has good line of sight with other teammates, you can heal people around corners and from a very big distance. Do be careful. If an ally loses line of sight from the time you press E until the healing animation starts, they won't receive the healing. Only you and those around you in line of sight will actually be healed. It also doesn't work when some targets are ephemeral or ethereal, which means they're not in the game really, you cannot touch them. Like for example, Scarlet's Shift. You can't target her, meaning you can't even heal her. Tip number 4 is about your shift. It's not meant for healing, it's for defense. Use it strategically to actually block massive ultimates like Storm or Magnetos. Also, don't be afraid to let your ally know that they need to stand near you whenever you're popping your shift, because the fewer people left means each one takes more damage. Tip number 5 is about your passive. Don't waste it just to rush back into the fight. Use it in conjunction with your ultimate to actually surprise the enemy by reviving your team from behind them. If they have just wiped your team, they will most likely try to push towards your own spawn, so use it to your advantage and just revive everyone behind them to flip the situation. Tip number 6 about your ultimate. If you didn't know, you don't have to be near your ultimate to actually revive teammates. You just have to be within a range of any ally. This can be especially helpful when your team is spread out or if you're using Doctor Strange portal to get to them quickly. Number 7, whenever you're reviving allies, make sure you save some of your healing for them, since revived teammates only have 30% of their health whenever they're revived. Tip number 8, this one is pretty important because Adam struggles against flankers. While other healers have movement abilities or defensive abilities, Adam only has 2 heals and a damage spread to rely on. After you use both of them to try to avoid a flanker like Spidey combo or a magic combo, You're kind of just waiting to be saved by a teammate if you haven't already killed the flanker. The most obvious tip I have is just to stay near a friend and don't be brave because you can't back it up. Neither I nor you are aim gods. And that's all I have for Adam Warlock. I didn't find him as fun to play as other supports. He can be quite effective if you have very good aim. Overall he's fine, he's okay, but other supports simply have more to offer and just you have an easier time with them. I don't know, that's what I think. Let me know if you have any different ideas or thought or whatever. But that's gonna be it. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, let me know why, so I can improve. Besides that, keep us safe. See you in the next one. Bye bye.